Chuggalos, welcome back to episode 296 of the Brew Crew podcast. And as you can see again, I'm just in the man cave. JT called in sick. He's fighting aliens again. I don't know what exactly he's doing, but yesterday when I was writing down the notes, as I always do, because it was my week to bring beer, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write down notes. And I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. This is a little bit behind the curtain here on episode 296. And I was like, I'm going to check, because I've been checking with JT. We're just getting busy in life. You know, things happen. Alien invasions happen for the mole people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if he's up to something. And sure enough, he wasn't able. The aliens reinvaded. I just want him to be able to tell his story next week, hopefully. I was like, you know what? I've already got the beers written down. I'm just going to wing it again myself because later in the week didn't work out. And it's important that we get these out because I want to remind you in the beginning of the episode, when more people are listening and I have your attention, that we're doing the 4th annual Advent BCP Advent Calendar build this year on November 8th at the Barrel House in Dayton, Ohio. And if you want an Advent calendar this year, please let myself or JT know by the 25th of October. And you might be asking, you might be just a typical Chuggalo, and you might be asking, Matt, why do we need to let you know so far in advance? And that's to give our friends Sarah and Matt and Gus and Maya a heads up on how many people to expect on the 8th of November when we go to build and how many calendars they're actually going to build. In all honesty, it's so we know how many beers or how many beers that Sarah's going to order of particular styles and flavors and all of that good stuff. So it's important. Please let us know by the 25th of October if you're interested in getting, and we can put you down on the list for an Advent calendar. And please show up if you're able to on November 8th at 11 a.m. We're going to open up the Barrel House for the 4th consecutive year. And we're going to build the calendars right there. There's going to be food, maybe some shenanigans. Maybe I'll think of some other. I've got some giveaways that I'm going to do, some little trinkety type items that I'm going to give away. And it's going to be a great time for the 4th year in a row. And I always look forward to it. I want to know down below. Here's my first question, Chuggalos. Do you enjoy when we do the daily videos? Is that too much content? I mean, we still do the weekly. We still do the mothership, the Monday mothership. But are the daily episodes too much? Because I understand there's a lot of us. There's Chuggalo Stev. There's JT. Myself, the Up North crew. Sometimes Chuggalo Mikey. What did I call Chuggalo Kate? Like the good-looking blondes. I forget their nickname. But we've got a lot of videos going on. It's almost too much content. So just let me know if you enjoy more, less condensed. Maybe do like a weekend review. We could make a segment on the mothership. This is the feedback portion. I would say shoot me emails, but you know what? I'm a realist. Just put the comments down below. So today, I'm just going to do one beer. And you're like, Matt, you already cracked the beer. You didn't even tell us about it. Well, I'm going to have 2 beers, but I only want to do 1 beer because the 2 beers I wrote down, one of them for sure, I want to wait for JT, his presence. The other one, it's fine. There's a lot of gravitas to it. There's a lot of, meatology to it, and that's going to come up. But I just cracked a zombie dust right on the camera. That's my second question for the Chuggalos. Do you have, just go-to beers, that are always in your reach at any time that you keep in your fridge? For me, and while you ruminate on that question, Zombie Dust and Truth are right up there, that are comfort areas. They're available. That's a big one. I find beers like Taco Party or the coffee sour that evades me right out. Sorry, Stacy, from a couple years ago. But there's always beers that are just not produced year round that I really would like and I would keep my fridge stocked. But the 2 that I think of that are available year round and are pretty easy to get right now for me are both IPAs. Well, technically Zombie Dust is a pale ale. Are 100% Truth and Zombie Dust. At any one time, I'm 98% sure that there will be one of those beers in my fridge. It's just that hoodie and those pair of sweats on a fall day, which, by the way, what's with the weather? Can we talk about the weather? It's 90 degrees. We're mid-September. I'm gonna shit a chicken if we only get like 2 weeks of like a good like fall, like crisp fall, upper 40s to like lower 70s, slight breeze. You know the time I'm talking about. I would say most people that are fans, that are chuggalos of this show, would say that fall is probably their favorite season. And if you don't think, I guarantee that you would put it in your top 4 seasons. And I'll challenge you on that. Earlier we were talking about giveaways. This last weekend, our oldest daughter had a cheering opportunity at the football game. But they recognized the parents, and we got to walk out on the field with our daughter. And she's only in 3rd grade, which is something. But they gave us koozies, which is fine. I've said in Beaver Creek, the football team is the Beavers, so they got the Eager Beaver. But this is a really nice koozie. And if you know me, one of these weeks I'm going to take a picture. I think I'm upwards of like 50 koozies. It's close, but I've got that koozie holder that Stacy, my wife, got me for our anniversary, which is awesome. So anyways, that was awesome. And when they handed it to me, I pulled a koozie. Actually, this exact koozie right here out of my pocket. I never leave home without one. But this is a high quality koozie. I should start rating koozies. Maybe make a side channel or something like that. But so that's the one thing I wanted to talk about. The advent calendar is the other one. I'm gonna have to get to the second beer. It's from a new brewery that we've never had before, so I'm excited to get to that. All right, we're gonna roll X into that one right now. 7 minutes in, it's about time. Okay, today's beer, which I'm excited to share with you guys, because it was shared with me. It was given by my buddy Chuggalo Bill. Chuggalo Bill builds an advent calendar with us every year, so he will be there on November 8th. Is Mast Landing Brewing Gunner's Daughter. So right now, I will ask trivia question without Googling, where is Mast Landing located? Da, 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 da. If you guessed Michigan, you're wrong, because it's actually Maine. And this is a 5.5% milk stout. And Chuggalo Bill gave this to me because he doesn't like milk stouts, but he needed it for a chili competition. So that's interesting. Have you ever bought, another question, have you ever bought a beer because you needed it as an ingredient because he was making a brisket chili, but you didn't like that style of beer? I can honestly say I've never bought a beer for cooking that I wouldn't drink or just drink myself. There's been beers that I've bought that have been gag gifts for other individuals, like Wild Ohio comes to mind. The beer that I would pay a lot of money for, and if you know this, is Pyramid's Wheat Hefeweizen. Pyramid is out of Oregon. I don't even know if they're a brewery anymore. But anyways, I'm going to go with the crack, 3, 2, 1. And I brought a glass today because as a milk stout, I just wanted to see the action. So Chuggalo Dave will appreciate that. That's my Tuborg glass. I'm going to pour, hopefully not like a jerk. Tuborg got a turkey, but all over the Eastern Europe. Look at that. Not a perfect pour. There's still a little bit in there. Oh, milk chocolate on the nose. A little bit of a roast. And again, a little bit atypical because it's only a 5.5%, but milk stouts tend to be a little bit more tapered down on their ABV compared to like their Imperial Stout, obviously, or they're just, if you will, run-of-the-mill stout peers in the category. So let's check out Mast Landing's website. I've got it up. All right. So mastlandingbrewing.com. And again, so Westbrook, so Maine, Freeport, and South Portland. So Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon. Got some, again, lots of pictures. Let that do the talking for you. Pictures worth, sorry, Stacy, 1,000 words. So let's go to their history. They're about us. Now, remember where I said that pictures do a lot of talking? Oh, you're like, okay, yeah, we since 2016, so they've been open 8 years. Showcase their beers, tap room. So when you think of Maine, you obviously think of Maine Brewing Company and their lunch. So this is probably the second Maine beer that we've had on the pod. But then you get into like a wall of text. Holy buckets. Which is good if you want to know. Doesn't really convey well for the podcast, but I would direct you again to go to Mast Landing. The beers like Dash and Sacra Kappa and DDH Telltale channel these themes. Again, like the pictures of the individuals. Again, it takes all kinds to brew, and it's nice to have all kinds because then you break groupthink and you think of crazy or zany or creative opportunities in what you brew. And then, although it wasn't necessarily planned, the brewery's flagship beer, our Gunner's Daughter Milk Stout. Well, that's what we're having today. So this is what Mast Landing puts on their masthead. But this is their signature. This is their supreme beer. It was a huge hit once we started getting it out. Brewed without nuts. But I do have that flavor profile. Again, peanut butter, but no nuts. Interesting how it imparts that, and that's accurate. Dark beer reached glass after glass to folks' Mast Landing, Spirit of innovation, awesome. So let's go. They even showcase it here. This are their beers, the hoppy stuff, light and bright, and they have it broken down. I appreciate that. But Gunner's Daughter is right there. See what they have to say about this. Look at that. Rwanda Bean Company, not Rwanda. Maybe. Based in Portland, Maine. Community coffee farmers who are growing stronger Rwanda by sharing their harvest and stories with the wider world. We're proud to showcase such an exceptional agricultural product in tandem with our... It's awesome. Again, 5.5. Medium roast coffee from Bean Company. A nut-free beer. Contains lactose. So nut for allergies, but then you have lactose. So interesting. And frequency. Limited. But it's their flagship beer. That's an interesting choice to do your flagship beer, but it's only got a limited release. I should have asked Chuggalo Bill where he got this beer from. It's got that nice action. It's a little light. This is, again, roasty, or that components like the malted stuff, but it's not relying on nuts. But I'm very curious where that peanut butter palate pleaser is imparted from. Well, while I think about that, I got another question for you guys. Do you guys, you beer connoisseurs, if you're listening to this, and you don't have to be a craft beer snob, but craft beer connoisseur, you enjoy kicking back and drinking a craft beer, do you ever compare notes off Untapped or whatever? So I'll give you a situation and why I bring this up. So Chuggalo Dave gifted many beers to the podcast, many stories. Again, Tuborg drinking stories with Chuggalo Dave. He was in Wisconsin this last week and tipped off by JT's offerings last week with the Nuclearis gifts and the pills that we did. Again, drinkers or consumers of the podcast were like, hey, where can I get that beer? And Chuggalo Dave reached out to me specifically. And this is the situation. While I'm not, I tried to find him an answer, like where he could locate it. He was in Madison, just a little bit north of New Glarus where the beer is made. And he was trying to use the Untapped app. And Untapped is only as good as the bars and everything that sorry, Stacy, that update their information. And most bars that subscribe to Untappd, they're paying a premium service to have their beers publicized. And I subscribe to 2 beers on Untappd. I recommend, if your favorite haunt uses it, subscribe, because I know when taps are changed out both at Barrel House and King's Table. And talking with the owner this last Friday, I went out to get a bite to eat. I took a long weekend, and I was talking with the owner of Dean, the owner of King's Table, and he was telling me a little bit about their process in selecting beers as he was cleaning lines. And that's a story for when JT's here, because I learned a lot that day. But Untappd specifically for that premium account, it's nice to know that those businesses that do that, people will come and comment, and they're like, hey, I know, even though their beer list isn't updated because it's on a paper at King's Table, at Barrel House, it's on their chalkboard, and they're like, hey, I noticed you put beer A on. And they're like, oh, yeah, we didn't update it, but it's driving business. So it's awesome that bars are paying for that premium and are getting that immediate feedback that other people that are just, driving around, it's like, oh, I wanted to have beer A or B or C, and it's, it's on tap. Where is it near me? And there's oftentimes that there's very exclusive beers. Like for the longest time, I thought Dogfish had 120 minute. Twice in the last month, it's been available both at the ballpark in Dayton. It used to be Fifth Third Field. Now it's like Day Air, where the Dayton Dragons play. They've had 35 years of consecutive sellouts. And it's been at Milano's downtown. That's like one of those beers, like if you ever have the opportunity to have it on draft, it's really good. It's very cellarable, but it's also very drinkable and enjoyable when it's fresh. And you're going to get a quality product that's going to affect you, because a 14 to 17% ABV fresh is quite the feat. And make sure you're responsible. A couple of those, and you better have a Uber or Lyft, or be using your shoes to get yourself home. So, anyways, fun stories, fun situations, and but it's always knowing, taking it back to what it was, getting those opportunities and seeing, hey, I tipped off on, what beer's on tap or what's coming up soon. All right, back to Mast Landing. Lots of thoughts. Hopefully we get some good feedback down below in the comments. This beer, again, there's no alcohol to it. You're not getting beat up by it being boozy or overly filling. The palate, I could see why this is a flagship beer. Knowing that there's no nuts in it, neither here nor there, that's a choice. But how it imparts like that peanut butter flavor without nuts is crazy. The lingeringness of it can be attributed to lactose. I wouldn't have known that unless I read that in real time on the recording with you guys. And that's pleasing. It's not overdone. It's nice to have that flavor, though, that pleasant. You could put, this does peanut butter better than some beers that advertise to be a peanut butter explosion, or, a cacophony of peanut butter, or, the peanut butter apocalypse. This does a much better job than some of those beers in having that texture, that taste, and that remembrance on the palate. And it leaves an absolutely clean glass. Wow. I am shocked. I'm sad for Chuggalo Bill that he didn't like this. I'm wondering what this milk stout, because you don't think of peanut butter and chili, but he won his chili cook-off. There was 9 chilies in there, and he said it was a little bit close, but I mean, he said between him and a white chicken chili. Thoughts on that below. There's a time where like a chicken chili or whatever like that is good, like a white chicken chili. I really dig this. I'm glad for it because it's outside of my realm. I'm gonna have to see where he got it from. If he says Pat's, I'm gonna be, because he only lives a couple blocks away. I'm wondering if it is Pat's. It's good as a one-off, though. A lot of stouts for me don't have the drinkability of an IPA, a Pils, or something lighter like that. A stout is for that moment in time, and then let's let's turn the page. Even though this has got a high drinkability, off the top rope, a 4.25, I'm a one and done on this in a sitting because I want to go to something else, something different. And I don't think another stout, or at least not another milk stout for sure. Man, this is, yeah. It 4.25 off the top rope, 4.25, leaning towards a higher score. Which, since it's been an Untapped heavy episode, that's part of me is thinking about subscribing to Untapped, because then you can go in 0.1 scales. And the reason I haven't is we've done 7 years of this podcast. We're approaching 300 episodes. I like the 0.25 increments. I know the 0.1 would give us more shades of gray. But most of the people I am friends with or watch this or utilize Untapped are comfortable in the 0.25. Untapped, though, like as soon as you check in a beer, man, they're trying to sell you product. I understand. Get that hustle. But it's one thing that I haven't I haven't ordered anything from Untapped yet. I really want to. Really want to get Tavor again. My bank account thanks me that I don't have Tavor, but yeah, off the top rope 4.25. Asked a bunch of questions this episode. A little shorter this today, but again, 2 dates to remember. October 25th. Please let myself or JT know if you're going to get an advent calendar. If you're going to be there, that's fine. But otherwise, we need to work out financial details. And then, please, even if you're a listener or not a listener and want to come hang out with us on the 8th of November at the Barrel House, it's a great time. I'm fairly certain it's going to be Matt, Sarah, and Maya there. The cast of characters is amazing. Plus, Chuggalos I is a favorite. His episodes always do well, be it the advent calendar or the episodes when he's on. He's a guest star. Future producer Chuggalos I. But again, please let us know if you want a Barrel House and BCP co-branded advent calendar by the 25th of October. And we're doing an in-place calendar build on November 8th at 11 a.m. at the Barrel House in downtown Dayton. But that's it for this meaty but morsel-sized episode 296 of the Brew Crew podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a fantastic week. Cheers.